More fallout from the flooding that Montreal saw over the summer. Remember Hurricane Debbie? Well, we have cases where people whose basements were flooded saw damage or destruction of their hot water tanks. And in the case of the ones that came from Hydro Solution, what followed was a chargeback for the replacement of the hot water tank and other complications too. So, in a moment, we're going to talk to a lawyer who is spearheading a class action lawsuit on behalf of these Montrealers. Right now, though, we're going to speak to a Laval resident who is dealing with the situation firsthand. Steve Jones, welcome to CJD.
Thank you very much.
So, your water heater was destroyed by flooding.
Unfortunately, yes.
And your struggle to get it replaced
right.
Doesn't involve just money. First of all, tell us, how much does Hydro Solution want to swap out that damaged heater?
Okay. When I had called them to replace it, they sent me an invoice for $900 plus taxes to cover the replacement cost. And I specifically told them that they would not be replaced. It would not be paid until I get my settlement from the insurance. I have already made the arrangement for a date to come and replace the tank. From the moment they walk into the basement, they told me that they cannot work the so-called strong smell that the minor molding that's on the wall, and that they would not replace the tank until the flooring and the drip rock was replaced. To further add insult, I would offer them good quality mat so they can replace the tank. Nope. What even added further insult was that when I was talking to the agent on the line, they were not interested in helping me. All they wanted was their money. They were so determined to make sure the basement flooring and wall was done. And I don't know if they realize it, but it takes time to do all this. They just don't simply care about except at all to take advantage of us making money off of us. They found a way. Okay, I just wish there were days I had never entered any agreement with Hydro Solution because of their attitude towards me.
Do I understand, Steve, that you are still without hot water?
Right. Well, here's the fun part about that small so-called odor. Okay. I had a couple of people come and look at my furnace last night. I said, just for fun, do you smell any odor? They looking around, they said, what odor? They don't smell anything. If they did, it's very vague. So that's why they don't want to come to the house, because of the odor, and they want me to clean up, get the basement all renovated. Gosh, I mean, they don't care about us. All they want is their damn money.
When do you think you'll have the renos done? In other words, how much longer are you going to have to do without hot water?
I'm going to say, probably between now, I'm starting now to do some of the rip. I've got to get the drip rock out of the wall, so I'm taking my time doing it. I'm not rushing to a job like this. I'm going to take the time, do it, go out and get the material, and so on. So I'm hoping that everything will be completed by the end of October.
Okay.
And I need to have the tank in there so I can produce the hot water.
Yeah. A hot shower might be nice after you're doing all that drip rock. Wouldn't that? God. All right, Steve, thanks very much for joining us to tell us your story.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Over now to Joey Zukran, the class action attorney leading the proposed action. Joey, welcome to CJD, or welcome back, because we've spoken to you before.
Thank you for having me on.
On what basis are you proposing to go after Hydro Solution on behalf of its clients?
So Mr. Jones' story that he just described is symbolic of essentially every single consumer that finds himself in the same situation, including the lead plaintiff who brought this case forward to us out of the West Island. The legal basis is very simple. It's twofold. First, it's a false advertising claim. So if you go to Hydro Solutions website, you don't even have to go to the website. You can even look at the stickers actually plastered on the tank that they put in people's houses. What they say when they take your money is, you'll never, and I'm quoting, you'll never have to pay to repair or a rented water heater. So all their advertising goes even further and says you don't have to pay for a repair or a replacement. So when they contract with you and they take your money, they tell you free repairs or replacements across the board. However, when Hurricane Debbie happened, they decided to implement a new policy, which is no, sorry, we're not repairing it or replacing it for free. Worse, we're going to charge you a buyback ranging from several hundred. Now I'm hearing Mr. Jones saying $900, which is illegal and absurd. So that brings me to the second issue, which is both of their contracts. So anyone listening, if you go to the last page of your contract, you'll see a big box, a square box that says, that reproduces Article 150.10 of the Consumer Protection Act. So this is provided both in the law and in the contract that says the merchant assumes the risks or loss of deterioration of the goods by superior force. And that's in the context of lease agreement. So it is clear that the Hurricane Debbie event is a case of force majeure or superior force. We just look at how the courts interpreted the ice storm of 1998 as a force majeure event, and we know that from the report from the Insurance Bureau of Canada last week, the damages of Hurricane Debbie exceeded the 1998 hurricane. So all this to say, contractually and legally, they are responsible for the rented goods, and they have to replace it for free.
What will you be seeking if your class action is authorized?
Well, first of all, we're seeking damages for people like Mr. Jones and our plaintiff who had a newborn baby at home, 3-month-old, who were left without hot water for weeks and close to a month now. So definitely damages for false representations, for putting people's life in danger, because even on the tank, it talks about the possibility of having bacteria grow if the Legionnaires, I believe, if the tank is not maintained or if it's not running properly. And I want to go back to that fee, that buyback fee that they're imposing, because that's the main phone call and emails that we're receiving too, are people sending us their invoices, their receipts, showing this what's an arbitrary or discretionary buyback for everyone, ranging from, like I said, $300-400 up until $900. Under consumer protection law, that is illegal. So we're requesting. It's like black on white illegal. You cannot impose a fee unless it's expressly mentioned in the contract, and it's not mentioned anywhere in the contract. So we're asking for that amount back. Now, here's the problem. A lot of people are just receiving their statements this week or last week, and they're saying, what do I do? It's so obvious that it's illegal and wrong and abusive, but they don't want to be reported to credit agencies, because another thing the contract says is that Hydro Solutions can report to credit agencies such as TransUnion or Equifax. So my advice is, if anyone decides to pay it, I would pay it with the mention without prejudice, because we will definitely be claiming that amount back, and we will be definitely claiming additional damages and punitive damages, because the courts have already condemned Hydro Solutions for similar conduct.
So you haven't put a firm dollar figure on it yet, but it will at least be the buyback fee, a minimum $600, right? Plus a little bit extra. So are we talking several $1,000s here, potentially?
Look, let's take the case of in the aggregate, we're talking potentially several $1 million. But if we take the case of the lead plaintiff, he's claiming damages of the buyback representing $600. He's asking for $1,000 in punitive damages, and he's asking for $2,500 for false advertising and then the ensuing troubles and inconveniences that resulted therefrom. So it could be several $1,000s per person that are being claimed. Of course, that will have to be determined by a judge at a later stage whether that amount is appropriate.
And where can people find out more if they are indeed one of these Hydro Solution customers who lost their water tank? Where do they find more information about this proposed class action?
So under Quebec law, those people would automatically be included in the class action. But if they want to sign up to be kept informed of developments of the case, they can visit our website, www.lpclex.com/Hydro Solutions.
Thank you for all the details, Joey Zukran.
Thank you.